Prior to that surgery, I was about 450 pounds. And I was type 2 diabetic with high blood pressure with sleep apnea. So far, I've had 2 out of 3 gone. I pretty much was the fat kid going to school. I was pretty much bullied for being morbidly obese. When Uber Eats first came out, when Uber Eats skipped the dishes, right? I take my phone or tablet and go like this and just be like dot, 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 dot. And there's times where I would spend like $60, $75 in 2 days on skip the dishes for myself when I was the height of my weight. Because I was so depressed and I just wanted to die, but I couldn't find I was too chicken shit to do other ways. So I figured if I kill myself and had a heart attack, you know, that was it. That was my goal. That was my dream. I'd like to thank McLean Films for allowing me to do this. Thank you for doing this interview with me about, well, my life as is and what it was and how I got from point A to point B. So I guess I'll start off by saying that, hi, my name is Bryan. Last name is Sloan. I'm 40 years old. I have a GoFundMe campaign going on at the moment. And I'm on ODSP and CPP disability. And they don't cover it. And neither does OHIP covering it. So what I need from people watching this video is help with my GoFundMe campaign at Bryans skin removal surgery. It really would help if you can help donate to the cause. It's really hard for me to talk, but I'll try my best to get to the point. About a year ago, or no, let's say about since 2019, I had bariatric surgery, and so right now I got sleep apnea. Technically, I don't have it when I have the machine on, but it's there. So, but let's go back to my earlier life, being 7 years old, going to school. I wanted to die and I didn't even know it. Right? Well, and so my doctor, so we'll go through school, you know, my marks weren't really all that great, but, you know, average life, whatever, you know, just didn't really care about what was going on around me at the time, just stumbled on through school and made it through high school and did my thing. People can say like, oh yeah, he was a good guy, and yeah, I was a good guy, but I was also like, you think about it, I was a fat kid in school growing up, so you can tell, I can see I was pretty much bullied a lot by my peers. Fights, every time I get to a fight with somebody, you know, because they were picking on me because I was fat. It wasn't all great. Looking back at it now, it's like, you know what, I still have that mentality where if I see the people I went to school with, I kind of like try not to think about back then, but now it's like in 2023, it's allowing things to go and not like, okay, this is cool now, we're adults now, and I'm pretty sure shit happens back then, you know. But, you know, my schooling for me was kind of like you said, it was like, because I wasn't really popular with a lot of people. I had my little group of friends, but that was it. Like I was in the behavior class. Like, what do you expect when you're almost 300 pounds in the 9th grade or whatever, you know what I mean? So, actually I was 330 pounds in the 10th grade, so that's pretty bad. Going back on a few things, like, I think it was, I don't know, what year was it, like, how old was I, about, not 17, 15 or 16 years old, I got arrested, and I got arrested for being overweight. I got arrested for getting into a fight with 3 people, and being really annoyed by these 3 people. I just went away for a year and 4 months. I wasn't proud of what I did, but you know what, it happened. Nothing bad happened to them, but it happened to me. I spent 1 year and 4 months in this place, and it helped better my behavior. So until then, I said to myself, I'm not going to go back there. I'm not going to be that person. But I still feel a bit angry from what had happened now, but not as much. But even today, like right now, like looking back now, talking about it, it's like, you know what, it's not that much of a fuss to hold grudges, right? So let's go to other things in my life. I'm thinking about like the depression, like smoking cigarettes. I was smoking cigarettes because I was depressed and I was smoking cigarettes and I was depressed and I wanted to fit in with the group of people who were smoking cigarettes because I thought back in the 90s smoking cigarettes was fucking amazing. I loved like the whole social thing of it. I guess smoking cigarettes was the greatest thing to do in the world in the 90s and the early 2000s. And then what had happened was, as life continued on, my health wasn't all that great. So, but I'll get back to smoking in a while. I'm just kind of like, I'm going to go all over the place with this conversation because it was pretty much a long struggle to come out here and talk about this situations that occurred in my life. Growing up, siblings, 2 sisters, I was a middle child, you kind of figure out, oldest one gets all the attention, youngest one gets all the attention, I'm stuck in the middle too, right? So, parents split when I was 6 years old, but then, whatever, it worked out for the best because everybody's happier now in that life, right? So that's a little bit of a inside part of that, right? Growing up now, looking back at things, like even when I had my procedure done, let's go to another story. Like I tell you, I don't have anything on script. It's coming to mind as I'm talking to you people. When I had my procedure in 2019, I was like so happy to be like having it, right? I was so happy. But I think the thing was, when I had the procedure, I got to the build up towards it. So I remember like days I go to the hospital, and of course it was Toronto Western, and at the time it was like the summertime, springtime, going back and forth. And there was times where I could remember getting on the GO train to come home, and it was freaking hot outside, and I was type 2 diabetes, and pretty much I couldn't breathe, and I was on the TDC coming back heavily breathing, got on the GO train, and just running 5 minutes up the stairs, not running, like walking 5 minutes up the stairs, gasping for air, and and I got on the train. I'm like, dude, I said to somebody on the train, I go, listen, man, I'm a type 2 diabetic. I can't breathe. Is there anywhere anybody wants to give up their seat? Somebody thankfully did give up their seat, and I sat down. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. He goes, just let me know if you're okay, if you need any help. And then some guy came out of nowhere and said, here's a bottle of water, sir. I hope you feel better. Oh, thank you. And I was so grateful. And looking back, I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, that was probably the nicest things people did. There are nice people out there, right? But even so, the whole build-up to having bariatric surgery was like, they said to me, you can't smoke cigarettes, you can't vape, you can't do drugs, you can't drink. So I'm like, okay, great. So what am I supposed to do for now? Right? But it was more of like the willpower situation too, right? He says, but you know what though, Bryan? He says, after you have the procedure, you'll feel a lot better about yourself. And I did for a bit, right? And looking back on it, like even the day of surgery, I was scared shitless. I was so scared, man. I'm raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school as a kid growing up. And I gotta tell you, man, I was freaking scared. I was like saying the Lord's Prayer from the time I got to the hospital at 6 a.m. And I was shaking and the whole time just like nervous as fuck. And if you watch my 600 Pound Life and those shows, they put them on trolleys and shit, I was walking down this cold ass room or this long ass hallway. I walked in, I'm like, just get it over with, man. Just get it over with, right? Guy says, okay, Bryan, lie back here, count back from 100, and then it's like, boom, I'm out. I wake up, splitting headache. I was like, dude, what now, right? I was like, shit. I woke up and I had the biggest friggin' headache, but I said to myself, you know what? I did it. This journey is almost done, right? This is it. There's just one more thing to go, right? So, but here's the thing, right? Going back to the smoking situation. My family doctor said to me, Bryan, you know what? I can't refer you because I want to see you prove to me that you're okay of quitting smoking. I won't refer you to have this procedure from Toronto Western unless you quit smoking for 3 months, right? So I did quit smoking for 3 months. Well, actually, I quit smoking for 2 months because something happened in 2016 that caused me to have a relapse because of, like I said, a situation that occurred around me that I couldn't do it, so I went back. I called my doctor. He said, Bryan, you know what? Don't worry about it. You did it for 2 months. Let's go back. Come see me in 6 months or so. Quit smoking. Try to quit smoking now, and I'll see if you can do it. I'll give you the referral to Toronto Western. And so far, they did it, and we all know what happened there. I successfully haven't had a cigarette as of, I think it was 2018 of March. So March 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, almost 5 years. So pretty much 5 years in like whatever months it's been since I had a cigarette. And you know what? I can't stand the smell of it. I don't desire it. Well, I can put up with the smell of it because people smoke, right? It's going to be no matter what, right? But going back to smoking cigarettes, I can't stand this. I don't desire it. I have no desire to smoke cigarettes, right? So thankfully that I guess addiction is gone, right? Another one of my addictions was the food addiction part, was like the pizzas and all that stuff too, right? I can control myself now to the point where it's like, you know what? It has a wave of cravings for like food and shit, right? Like killing myself with food. Like, how do you say that? Like, that's like basically you're saying, okay, you're killing yourself with food, but like, what do you mean by killing yourself with food? Well, I'll tell you what. When you're stuffing yourself with food every night, I literally want to die, but then looking back on it, like suicidal thoughts, you don't realize that you not only hurt yourself, but you hurt others, right? So I took a break for a second because I gotta start. There's more I want to talk about. Thing after this section, after this topic here, we're going to talk about the post-op part of surgery, because I kind of give you like different puzzle pieces you can put together about how it was building up to my story when I was little. To like, but I'm going to take you to the part where it's post-op. I just need to have a little break for a second, so I'm going to put this on pause. What I noticed post-op surgery was the weight started coming down. Like I said, I was pretty much 450 pounds, and I was on that slim time diet for about a month. So just straight liquid diets. And I pretty much had like lost like 60 pounds, 65 pounds. And it was like, I was surprised. I was like, wow, this is like amazing. If I swear in this video, I'm sorry, I shouldn't really be swearing, but you know, I was pretty much like fucking surprised, right? And then afterwards, I noticed the weight started dropping more after surgery. So on 2019 of July 28th, or August 28th, yeah, was the day I had my surgery, and I had something called a vertical sleeve gastrectomy. I didn't know what the hell that was. So I pretty much got into those shows like 6 Hour Pound Life, the Slayton Sisters, 1,000 Pound Sisters, you know. I used to watch a lot of TLC afterwards to kind of like get myself aware to what was going on and knowing how the procedure was, right? So, but what happened was, as the weight dropped, my behavior kind of went like backwards to where it was in 2016, right? But the difference was, because I was fat shamed all my life, in the back of my mind I kept thinking, this is great to strike back at those who either shame me now, who look like garbage, who look like shit, or whatever, because it was in my mind, right? Little did I know that my moment was only there for 30 seconds, and then afterwards I kind of fucked up, right? I do feel bad for my behavior, though, and a lot of times, and I can't just blame whatever, I blame myself. So anybody who is not in my Facebook, but who somehow gets word of this, I'm sorry to you people. I'm sorry for saying things like, I weigh less than you now, I guess. I didn't mean it as to be hurtful. I thought we were all in the same circle. But I've been living with that shame, with that gut feeling for so long. I don't know how to say words properly because, like I said, not really. I got learning difficulties, right? So it's hard for me to say things, but to get my point across, right? So yeah, my diet was basically like, it was horrible. Like the day of surgery, like it was actually the weeks or the months after surgery, I started attending shows and seeing people who haven't seen me since surgery before, And like, oh my God, you're great, congratulations, we're so happy for you, right? But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, are they telling the truth? Are they lying? Or are they really telling the truth? They just, what's the story, right? So kind of just was like, okay, great. And then I got kind of like, it got to my head, right? So then I kept trying to basically like Russell-ize my whole thing and turn this whole post-op thing into like a gimmick of like, yeah, I'm the greatest man, da 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 da, right? And like I said, it was too much, too soon, right? I wish I had handled it differently, right? Unfortunately, I didn't handle it differently, right? But I wish I had. So, but then it got worse, and it got really worse, especially just before COVID. A situation occurred. This is when I had social media. And this is when I was kind of like almost like narcissistic on social media without even knowing I was narcissistic. I was actually I didn't realize this until about a year or so after being off of social media, right? And I said some things, and it happened. And what happened was that I guess I said one little comment about something, and excuse me for a second. This is I'm not trying to ask for some sympathy for this, but this is hard to say. It I found out who my friends were on social media, and I found out who my friends weren't. Right? I'm not angry about it. Right? It was my fault for saying what I said, because if I was trying to word it, or if I was trying to make it out as a one thing, but everybody else took it a different way, right? I didn't know at the time. My stupidity got whatever, right? But I had to leave social media. I left Facebook for over a year, and it was probably the best thing for me to do because, like I said, it was just that falling backwards situation. Now I left Facebook because I didn't want to go back to the old habits, because I kind of was like had the surgery, and I was falling back to my old habits of being an asshole on social media, whatever, right? So going forward now with it, it's just like, what, it was probably best just to leave, get away from it all, just go away from everything, right? Because I couldn't deal with the problems, right? So then I noticed after leaving social media, I had those withdrawal syndromes. Like that dopamine fix was kind of like leaving, and then after it left, I was like, a year or so goes by, I'm like, what? Let's see what I can do, right? So I pretty much spoke to my doctor about having skin removal surgery, and this is where it gets kind of tricky right now. So I was hoping to get something called I don't know what the actual word's called, but the short term is called a penny, and takes care of your lower abdominal area, right? It doesn't take out much, but takes a good portion of it, right? So I met with somebody in Toronto, my doctor referred me to, right? And I thought certain things would be covered by OHIP, because I got this illusion that people were telling me that, hey, it's all covered by OHIP, you're good to go, whatever, right? So this was back in November, and I got word of it. And I met with this doctor lady and these people, and they did the whole testing. They said, hey, you need this, right? And for like my arms, I can't, it's like, this is like, I'm 40 years old. I've never really been out much, and like my arms are one thing to get done. My chest area needs work on, my abdominal area, my back area, my legs, my thighs, right? My arms, like, it would cost like $10,000 just for my arms, $6,000 for my back, $10,000 for my legs, $20,000 for my thighs, right? Like, it's getting to the point now where it's like, this is the final chapter in this whole journey that I need help with, right? And I have a GoFundMe going on right now called Bryan's Skin Removal Surgery, and I'd started the campaign thinking that, okay, you know what, I don't really like doing this, but I have to do it because, one, ODSP doesn't pay for nothing, OHIP won't pay for anything, neither will CPP disability, right? I'm from a low, I have no job. I haven't worked since whatever because of the being overweight, right? I'm trying to get my life back together. You know, I've been through enough as this. That's like 36 years of like almost of just chaotic stuff, right? Um, it's hard for me to go out there and help, ask for help, whatever, because it doesn't, like, I don't know what to think anymore. It's a brutal situation. Um, it's, uh, it's hard. Like it's gonna cost $50,000 and change for the whole thing with taxes, right? And I met with other plastic surgeons and I told them what I needed done. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a link in the description on the GoFundMe about what everything costs. Um, I'm pretty sure McLean Films can probably throw in some like screenshots of what the cost is and what the terms, what the names are for each procedure that needs to get done, right? But like, it's not so much me not being able to walk now. I walk every day. I walk my dog every morning for about half an hour, and I usually do like the walks, like the big pedal bikes, for about 45 minutes to an hour and 15 every day on the bike now, because I find that the timing now for me, it's like it's too much to go out for walks and do like big ass long 2 hour walks in the afternoons where I gotta do the dog in the morning and the walks in the afternoons where I'm just too tired. So I kind of like balance my time from like morning and evening or morning and afternoon, right? Um, and I really tried hard to get my act together. Even coming back on social media was a hard thing for me to do because I was more afraid of what people's reactions would be, whatever, right? Um, I try to stay away from all the animosity now because of like past experience. So I learned from my mistakes. Um, but what I really need help with is this procedure. I need this procedure to get done because I'm in so much friggin' pain. Like, I'm not asking for much. $1, $5, $2, $10, $20, $50, $100, $1,000. You know, it really would help out, right? The stories on my GoFundMe is basically what I told you, and it's just in short forms, like whatever. It's in short forms, pretty much, of like from start to finish. Um, like I said, I'm in constant pain. My arms, like you see my arms now, it's not really like it's embarrassing in a way, but it's it's hard to explain right now because like talking to you now is what's the hardest thing for me is to talk or say something because like I said, I'm in so much pain and like this is me off script and I'm not doing anything like I've penny pinched everything I can penny pinch for this campaign on my own, right? So like the government won't help me. I ask for help and go to these organizations. I don't have much platforms out there. I'm very grateful for McLean Films to reach out and say, hey, listen, people want to hear your story, Bryan. Can you tell us your story? You know what? At first, it's kind of like, right? But looking back at it now, I'm glad to share my story with people. Addiction is a really, really hard thing to do or to overcome. Food addiction, especially. And I used to laugh at all this shit. I used to think this was funny, but look, like now it's not, right? I've suffered so much. I've in pain. I've suffered so much in silence. Like I remember even going to shows back in the day, and I couldn't even walk across the parking lot. Have you ever been to Battle Arts Academy, right? And if you know Tompkin Road and Eglinton Road there, right? Walking across Tompkin Road to go from one bus shelter to the venue was hard, right? It was always, right? And then walking from the corner of Tompkin and Eglinton to Battle Arts was even a struggle, right? Let's go to the Legion in Oshawa, right? Walking from Tim Hortons, which is like not even 5 minutes from the venue, to the doors of the Legion, I was gasping for air, right? At the Legion in Oshawa, and that's only like a minute, right? Especially being type 2 diabetic at the time, right? It's hard for me to talk about this anymore to people. Like it's very hard. I'm just struggling for words. I may be stuttering. I'm sorry. I apologize. But it's been a really hard struggle. I hope someone out there can help close this final chapter because it's been like maybe like a 5 year, no wait, 2019, so 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. It might be almost 3 years in August, not 3 years, 4 years this August since surgery, but this has been basically like a 33-year journey that the story is about to finally come to an end in a positive way, you know. There has been no tragic moments. Like there's probably, like I said, when I talk about suicide off the bridge, I'm pretty sure they're going to show you a picture of the bridge that I would ride by all the time, and that's from 2019. So that's almost 4 years ago when all that shit happened. No, that was actually not 4 years ago, 3 years ago or so, whatever, when COVID happened. That's how bad it was. That was after surgery, right? So think about before surgery. So I know my behavior wasn't all that great back then, but I'm trying to better myself, right? I need your help. Donate to the cause if you can. Share on your platforms. This is serious talk, man. I've had enough. I can't do it no more. You know, I'm making this video to kind of like get my story out there and share my story, my experiences, right? I tried hard every day to better myself. I know I'm rocking a wrestling t-shirt, but you know, it's just for me to break down the fourth wall, I guess. This is basically who I am. I'm just like whatever. I'm here at Rotary Park in Ajax, right? This is the greatest, this is the best place to do it on Saturday. You know, from being morbidly obese, like being picked on for being bullied for being overweight, being bullied for having learning difficulties, right? Being bullied back then for being different, right? It's been too much for me, you know. I just don't know what to do anymore, right? The campaign I have going, hopefully, I hope it works out, because that's one of two things I've actually had success in life right now. I have not had much success with a lot of things growing up. Actually three things so far. The smoking, the procedure I had when I had weight loss surgery, like going from starting from point A to point B, you know. Yeah, so basically it's been smoking cigarettes and quitting smoking, and then quitting and going on with the weight loss procedure, and now this, right? I hope this is the third thing, you know, that can happen. I hope I have help, you know, someone watching this thinking, hey, because I don't know what to do anymore. I can't, like, sit here and ask and beg and beg and beg. It's hard for me to do that. It's hard for me to just even talk about it sometimes, right? But I try hard as I can to get my message out there to people and say, hey, listen, I need your help desperately. I have my gratitude. I'd be ever so grateful, you know. Even if it's just $1 from 50,000 people would help, you know. My campaign is Bryan's skin removal surgery. You know, I've lost weight before, but it wasn't successful at keeping it off, because I met with a plastic surgeon back then. He told me the same story, just basically the same old BS, right? And then what happened back then, I gained it all back, right? This was back in 2003, or no, 2004 or 5, I think, right? And it was pretty brutal back then. I lost weight, and then came all back after with this plastic surgeon. I don't want to have the same experience again, you know. I fear more of gaining it all back, right? And it's hard because when everything now is in my face, you know. But what can you do? You know, I hope it can help. I hope it can help. I really do hope. You know, I never ask for much. I'm not a saint. I'm not saying I'm a good person, a bad person, but I need your help. So, thank you for watching this video. I hope it goes a long way with people. I hope people see this and kind of like say, you know what, he's been through a lot, which I have, you know. Talking to you now, sharing my stories. I know it's not like, it doesn't make sense, but I'm pretty sure it's all coming out. I'm not proud of a lot of things. I'm not proud. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not like, I regret a lot of things in life that I've done in the past to people, right? Or not regret that, just sorry. I regret a lot of things I've done in my past for my health wise. I'm just glad that I've kind of like seen a better light, seen things better now. Unfortunately, it's hard to get the message through, but thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to McLean Films on YouTube. Please donate to the cause if you can. You know, I know McLean Films has a GoFundMe as well to help him with his project, and you know, and if you help me, you can help him. You know, pass the message around. But yeah, thank you very much. God bless. If you can donate. You know, it's hard for me to it's hard for me to, you know, do this, but you know, I did it for you guys. I was asked to do something, and I'm doing this out of the kindness of someone who asked me, Mr. John McLean of McLean Films. You know, so best of luck to you all, and have a nice day. I'll probably see some of you tomorrow if I do. You know, peace.